Do not attempt to adjust your speakers. The sounds that you're about to hear are various sounds that come from a human's mouth. So this is what we came with.
What's happening, big dog? Yo, Willie B. All right, I guess we'll just be me talking today. Our guest this morning is the one, the only, Wilbur B. Dog. His last name is Dog, which is really unfortunate. I feel like dogs should have last names like humans, right? That's like me having the last name Man. That's dumb. Don't you think so?
The silence is deafening. It's so funny.
Oh gosh, we're being interactive a little bit here. Let me lean in
Watch
a little bit.
Watch the table and the coffee.
It's all good. Yo, boss, you give me a paw here. Yo, paw. Oh. Okay. We gotta say some of the keywords. Wanna go for a walk? Wanna go for a walk? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. What's your favorite place to walk, brother? Are you a downtown, like, late at night walker? You like a in the woods walker? Wide open space walker? Do I like other dogs walker? We gotta get new guests here, guys. You gotta bring me in better talent. I'm Wilbur, listen, man. Okay, now you do the same to me. Give me a little chin. Give me a little chin. Yeah.
Oh God! What a time! That was so fun.
Oh gosh.
Just him. So what's going on, Big Dog? Nothing. Just quiet. It's like, what am I doing here?
Oh, you come back? Oh. Back for more.
So funny.
Tell me again what our topic is. We're starting with intimate weddings first? Or
Yeah. Well, the rise of intimate weddings post-pandemic.
Okay.
What episode are we in?
22.
Yeah. The last one was our 21.
Okay.
Yeah, remember? Because you were buzzing it down the whole episode or whatever?
Well, yeah, I know. Bust down, Tatiana. We rolling?
We roll.
Hey, welcome here. You I'm not as lively with the welcomes. I just want to be nice and casual, but you go, and that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 22 of For the Record Podcast. Once again, we're here talking into a microphone. My name is Rhoni. With me is
Mr. Joey.
Mr. Joey.
Did you hear that?
That's what some of us are called.
That's my one of my fave intros.
Did you guys see the video that I tagged on Trident HQ on Slack of this guy from Nealon High School?
Well, I was barely
that was
in
the
it.
First, you weren't in it. There was that third video. It was you were the end, just posing right off to.
I got you. But I just love it. Like this dance, and like it's just a bunch of kids doing the Macarena.
But that dance, and there was a lot more going on. But that's the first time I saw this guy.
Yeah.
And after that, never seen him. And then there we go. 3 years later, here we are. 3 years later.
Well,
7 years later.
3 years later, you saw it. Yeah.
So it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was so myself and another fellow, we shared presidential duties for student council.
Yeah.
and we the year before paid for someone to come and do a gym blast. And it was fine, but I was just like, guys, I can do this. Like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, we just paid like someone like $800 or something like that for a gym blast. I'm like, what? How about I just do it? And they're like, oh, okay. And I don't know if I used your guys' microphone or what. I just had the microphone for the next day just to make sure I sounded good. I just hooted and hollered on a mic for a couple hours, and that was great.
Sounded the exact same. You didn't go through puberty at all with your voice. It was just the same.
I was almost 18 then. I already did go through puberty before then.
You didn't look 18 then. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, hey. Don't have to tell you, man.
That was before the muscles and the abs.
There's a little less musculature.
Little scrawny.
Yeah, a little less. Probably a little less nose too. I think that nose keeps growing. That side profile. Sorry. Okay. So, what are we talking about today?
I think you'd have more insight into this of what this looks like because of the amount of clients that want a smaller wedding. So we're going to be talking about the rise of intimate micro weddings post-pandemic.
You betcha.
And I haven't seen this in 16, 15 years of doing this much, but this past year and this coming year, there's a ton of requests for smaller weddings and shorter weddings. So yeah, I think we're gonna talk about that, touch on that a little bit, and why that might be.
Yeah. So, in the past couple of months, I've taken on a bit of a salesy role where I am talking to potential couples, just talking about what they need, what they want, and how they envision their wedding going. We're supposed to be secret. There's a dog about to walk into the shot, but no, everybody knows if they're watching because our faces went. Doesn't matter if the dog was visible or not. Right, so they, I hear what their wants and needs are for, the details of the wedding, this and that. But I'm always interested to know, how large the wedding is, because for a couple of years there, for forced reasons, our weddings had to be super small. Mm-hmm. Like we're talking maximum 100. Mm-hmm. So at one point they were doing like still a full blown wedding that they're paying for maximum 50. Mm-hmm. When it was smaller than that, they just weren't really paying us to do the wedding. But small weddings. And now that there is no restrictions of any kind in terms of what you can do with your wedding, what the possibilities are, we're still seeing people commit to a very small amount of people.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also the idea of they've taken out, we don't have to do a ceremony at 3 p.m. We could just do it at 6 p.m. and then move right into reception, and from there go right into, dinner, and from there go into speeches and then party.
Well, and that's a different aspect of it. I think we can look at this from a couple different angles. One, the micro wedding in terms of size of people, but one micro wedding in terms of timeline. Mm-hmm. Right? We have so many inquiries about this abbreviated wedding that starts at ceremony at 7, mm-hmm. that just kind of carries right into a party, where that's 10 years ago, that was pretty unheard of. Yeah, not.
And I think primarily is also, for some reason, I think it is also to do with costs and rising costs in terms of what everything else is. But then I think people have understood, hey, if we're going to just have an extended social per se, right? 9 to 1 is a party time anyway, but let's just condense everything else within 3 hours. Because if you look at a reception, technically, 5 till 8 is most of the reception anyway. So 5 o'clock cocktail, 6 o'clock dinner, 7:30 to 8 speeches, and then it stands down. So let's just condense it, not have an extra cocktail hour at 5, but rather just people show up between 6:30 and 7 for the ceremony, and then we do it from 7 till 7:30 for ceremony. 7:30 to 8 is, cocktail per se, and then 8 to 8:30 speeches. We're back into dances exactly at 8:30. Mm-hmm. Formal dances and whatnot, and then party time starts. So I think they've also realized we can condense it, make it economical to a certain extent, and still feel like a wedding day. And I think your guests don't have to be there for a long like an entire day, right? You're not taking an entire Saturday. It feels like an evening.
Well, we've talked a lot about this in terms of guest experience, right? You mentioned it, Danielle mentioned it in particular, like you guys really wanting to treat your guests or have that being the motivation of what you're about, like the guest experience. And I've never said that exclusively in terms of my priorities, but I will say, doing that where you know what's treating your guests well is not keeping them for a whole 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants that, right? That's just especially when you have kids at the wedding, especially all these things, right? If you can shorten their commitment as a guest, it does so many things, right? It shortens their commitment. It shortens probably lowers the cost to some extent, and allows for just a little bit more creativity within that time. Hey, you have less time, so let's try to pack some more stuff in, which you can. But also saying, hey, like. Making sure you know if they're only going to be there for whatever 5 hours, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, right? Cutting off trimming the fat off of the wedding, right? What doesn't have to be there? I don't think that you should just, based off of our overrated, underrated, all those things that we've talked about, like I don't think you should just like throw away the cake cutting. Like as much as we kind of, scoffed at it a little bit. Like I don't think you should, but like in a situation like this, maybe that's something you do. Open bar, this and that, or whatever these different things. Like those questions and the answers that we would have to whether those are worth it or not change on a 12-hour wedding day versus a 5-hour wedding day.
100%. And how much you want to go through with certain of those, like our questions become drastically smaller, and that means like you don't have to worry about too much decision making too, right?
Wait, hold up. Before you guys get too far into these shenanigans we're about to talk about, here's a quick ad read. Everybody knows that the most important part of your party is the music and atmosphere. And us here at Trident, that is what we're ready to do. Whether it's your wedding social, whether it's your wedding, whether it's a staff party, whatever the function, we are here to be a part of your big day. Okay, all you need to do is contact us. You can do it however, but let's visit tridentmusic.ca, tridenteventgroup.ca, get in contact with us, and we want to be a part of your next party.
And what do you think some of the cons are for a smaller wedding? Like, I think we're touched on a lot of the pros, but like in terms of why a smaller wedding is slightly not the greatest fit.
Well, a lot of people just feel pressure when it comes down to a smaller wedding on cutting down a guest list. That's the biggest thing, that no matter, even if you were like, I want a small wedding, you're still going to have time. Some people are cutthroat. Right. Some people, give it, who just drop the hammer, cut people down. But like, you just, they don't know where to draw the line. So that is one part of it. Also, I think people just worry still about not being the norm. I think when you make something smaller, you are changing the creative bits. Like something for like, let's hire a film crew. Okay, just talk to someone. We're doing a wedding. It's like 60 people, right? And now they're getting filmed for it, right? They were worried. They're like, is our wedding too small for videography? And I don't think any wedding is too small for videography, but I can understand that, right? A lot of like the big drone shots that we do over top of a family farm that's packed with people. Woo, like those are great shots. Doesn't look the same with 50.
Yeah.
Right? Different is smaller wedding parties, right? Doesn't have the same hit for photos.
Right.
A lot of that is just different, and I think it just scares people.
And I think that's sort of also when it comes to expectations too. If you've seen and you've like, okay, I would like this wedding and I like the way it was done, or I like these photos, or I like these videos, and I see the way and I like the way it's done. And when you take that into consideration, and maybe even if you know what you're going to get, but your expectations still sort of are comparing that in your head, that's going to be a little not the greatest feeling of, okay, wait, I wanted this, but that's not how this looks, because you've gone down on expectations on what everything is, right? So I think that I think that has to be talked about. Is if your expectations have been about an actual regular wedding and you wanted yours to be similar, but knowing that it's going to be considerably different has to be something that they need to have an understanding on.
So you think, cost aside, so if you were planning a wedding and money was no problem at all, and you assuming you had the venue capability, everything, like, whatever, do you think that a larger wedding is better than a small wedding? Think of it from your perspective running it. Thinking about it maybe from the wedding party perspective, as a guest. Like, how many weddings, Hayden, you've been to a wedding recently? Not working?
No.
Never? Okay, maybe you're a bad example. But like, when you go to a wedding, do you envision it being larger? Do you like Destiny, do you like a larger wedding, smaller wedding? Like,
I've only been to one wedding.
and was it big?
No.
It was small. And
Yeah.
did it feel kind of quiet, empty, uneventful?
No.
Right? That's another worry that people have. They're like, I only got 50 people. How much fun can we have?
Well, the 50 people are the closest friends and family you've got, and you're going to have more fun there than having
You know,
extended
that's
family
what-
show up.
That is common sense to me and you and I. But some people don't think that way, right? They get worried. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm only on 50 people, right? Is it worth it to do this? Is it worth it to do that?
And I think what needs to be also talked about is it comes down to who they are as a couple too. If they are if they're a couple that's introverted and they don't have issue with a smaller crowd, cool, right? If there's an extroverted couple that they have a smaller crowd, but they're like, oh man, this party's not as big as I wanted it to be, right? Those are some things that, like, I think they have to sort of be self-aware on what they want.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's why I find it interesting in some of our conversations. Like, I think this year, I'd say generally speaking, we have a lot more smaller weddings,
Right.
but 2026, all the ones are doing huge. Tremendous. Huge weddings. Like, I've won their 450 person wedding. Like, that is chaos.
But then also at the same time, we have 3 weddings in the next 3 months that are 7 o'clock start time and 12 a.m. end time with 40, 50 people, right? And then again, April 5th, like it's a small wedding. They're doing it at 2 different places, and it's just like a smaller wedding.
Yeah.
So I think people, I genuinely, the reason for this topic also too is because I'm looking at the calendar and we have 7 small weddings this year, which is a huge number in contrast to previous years. So, but at the same time, yes, there are huge weddings too. It's purely a cost thing. It's purely a expectations thing, and figuring out, do we want this or do we not want this? How do we want it to look like?
Something that I always chat about is just thinking about if it's about the intimacy of the day, right? If it's about the party, whatever your priorities are, thinking of how you can practically apply that.
Right.
When we're talking about film, when we're selling our videography packages, typically they already have a really good idea of what it is, right? They've seen it and whatever. We have a couple specialty add-ons that we have, and one of them being that I explained that actually have been really appealing for some people is what we call a same-day edit. And a same-day edit, and actually the first time I heard of it was before we actually I saw it on our packages, was actually talking with Shona, is people are looking at trying to cut down their wedding, and they go, man, I could do a wedding with 250 people, or I could do a wedding with 50 people. And I just don't want 250 people at my ceremony. I just don't want that, but I don't want to exclude them. And they're having these issues, and then they're thinking about the cost that it'd be for 250 people and all this chaos, right? So, we have someone who wants a more intimate wedding. So what they're going to do is they're going to have 40, 50 people at their ceremony, okay? Very small, very intimate, whether it be at your home or wherever the location is, doesn't matter. Us as a videography crew, we're going to follow you. We're going to be there. We're going to film the getting ready process, the ceremony as we usually would. Okay, after the ceremony is done, we're gonna have one of our guys go and create a 1 to 2 minute summary video, extended version, just a piece of your ceremony. Professionally do it right there.
Just a little bit longer, a bit before the ceremony, a bit after the ceremony too, but including the ceremony.
Just telling that short story, right? Then we're going to just have that. And then you're with the same 40, 50 people. You're going to have dinner with those people. And then after dinner, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, you have the rest of your guests show up, kind of at the general social time, right? Everybody. Now you got 250 people there, okay? Then you do a big grand entrance as you normally would. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. We're not there. Yep, I don't know. Yeah, sorry for that poor rendition. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, right? Yeah, this is. Next time you do a grand entrance, please do that with your hands. I want video footage. Mr. and Mrs. Okay, then you do your grand entrance. You go right into a first dance. Yeah. Okay, you have them be there for that. After the first dance is after the mother, son, all that stuff. You guys sit down.
Right.
We got one of our guys pull up video. We watch as a group the ceremony. Doing that, you have done some really cool things. One, you have not excluded anybody. If we're being real, not a lot of people want to sit through the 20-minute ceremony.
Yeah.
I know it sounds kind of terrible to say, but like a lot of people, that's their least favorite part of the wedding. Some people, especially if it's that hot day and Ronnie's forcing you to wear a full 3-piece suit in that sun.
We're not doing that. We're not.
But it isn't the most enjoyable. They want to get to the meal and or the dance and the party and drinking and socializing, right? So you've not excluded people from that. They've still got to experience that and see the smiles on your faces, the moments, the I do's, the first kiss, all that jazz. Okay? You also are able to cut costs. Now here, hold on a second. What do you mean cut costs? You're paying extra for them to do this whole video dealio. Well, if you've just dropped 200 people from your dinner bill in the travel and all that stuff and the responsibilities and decor that you would need for 200 more people, and you put that to something else, right? You're just like kind of allocating those costs differently.
And honestly, it's not even that. 200 people at $28 a plate at the lowest cost.
Wait, game, man. No idea. No idea. I tried really. I was hoping it would come to me. No idea.
It's still not as much as what it'll be when you try to include them with a little more extra pieces. When they show up, it feels like they're part of it, and it feels like they're still part of the thing.
Is it about $2,600, Hayden?
It's 28 times 200. Is that the?
Yes.
5,600.
Oh, is that a
that's a whole lot.
I was just yeah, it's $5,000.
That's a good amount of savings.
Jeez, why are people so hungry?
Forget that.
Then you get somebody like me, and it gets even worse.
Well, that's why we get buffet.
That's why you get buffet. Everybody gets served except for that guy in the back there. He gets
free frolic.
Yeah, he gets the back. Yeah,
the back, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think it's about how you try to still include them if you want to, but it's just being smart in terms of moving that, allocating that budget around and making it happen. And there's so many more ways, dude. Honestly, the internet is full of ideas of how
research, folks.
How you can keep it fun and interesting for everybody. And honestly, at the very, very, very end, it comes down to how much of your personality can you infuse into your wedding, and how much can it be amplified as much as possible. It's all that matters. This is, again, quick little trend. We saw this just a little last year. Couple, instead of doing wedding favors, they are huge lovers of pizza. So they made custom t-shirts with pizza and their name in it, and their monogram with the pizza in there. And they wore it for the later part of the evening. And they bought a little cannon to shoot off t-shirts, and they just shot t-shirts into the crowd. Like 30 t-shirts. And it was a cool little wedding favor that they took. cost much less than all the trinkets and stuff that you want to give out, and made it that much more fun. And the photos from that are so cool. It's like instead of a bouquet toss, everybody's trying to catch a t-shirt coming in. And again, a little thing, but just to do it a little differently, makes that much more of an impact. Again, going back to trying to personalize, trying to look inward into what can I do to make this fun. And that is all. That's what people are going to remember the most.
Yeah, personalizing things. I also just like, this is kind of just a general note, not specifically on micro weddings, but on party favors or guest favors that are useful. Holy smokes! A lot of times people just give like things that they're never going to use again. Like I that's what honestly what I think about a custom T-shirt that has a pizza on it with two people that you like. You're the plus one at their wedding that you just caught. Are you ever wearing that T-shirt?
You are if you're at home. It's a cool little thing.
What?
Well, first of all, if that's the person you are not going to be the one catching it.
No, that's not true. That's not true. At the Wheat Kings games, those things, like, you just want to catch a T-shirt.
Imagine if you're just sitting and the T-shirt lands on your lap. You're like, oh, I didn't even work for it.
Well, yeah, but you're fighting for a T-shirt. It's the novelty of going to try to catch the shirt.
That's the fun part.
Yes, exactly. But when you're actually catching, you're like, woo, right? Like, or you open it up, right? Like, I've gotten those gag like T-shirt gifts before, and you open up the T-shirt, you're like, hilarious. Not gonna wear that, but
I don't expect. Well, at least you get to wear. Here's the thing: you get to wear it at the wedding, and you just throw it on like.
Yeah, I'm not giving it a hard time. But
you know, this guy.
I'm just giving it a hard time, but it's good. I think that
useful favors.
Useful favors
over wastable favors.
Yeah, and cost efficient. I don't know. Wastable. What? Wastable favors. Wow.
Wastable. I'm thinking feastable for some reason.
Feastables. Oh my goodness, what's this going to be?
Yeah, but
I think that these micro weddings. What do you think is better or wiser? What do you like better, the micro timeline or the micro size?
I think a micro timeline. I would still have a bigger. If I had to do it, I would still have a bigger size on a micro timeline. Right. That would be my ideal. Just because I would still like to make it a short day for everybody, still have a good amount of energy going into it. But from a cost perspective, 100%, it's a micro size. On a micro timeline, it's just efficient across the board, right? So it comes down to people's style.
People's styles, the amount of friends they got.
Yeah. And who they like and who they don't.
And who they like and who they don't.
Micro wedding is when you get to really, really know who your friends are and who your family is. And you go, do I really want to see Uncle Bob and his
Uncle Bob? Just throw Uncle Bob under the bus again?
Jeez. And the annoying nieces and nephews?
Jeez.
You know, you get to ruthlessly cut it out, and they get to know, shit, I'm not that important, I guess. Right? So
wedding lists is where you can put a line in the sand in your family.
Micro weddings is where exactly people know where they stand in terms of importance to you. So, but yeah, I think.
What do you think?
Start some wedding drama. Do some host some micro weddings.
What activity, or I don't know. What do you think it would be first if you were just to shut down the timeline or of a wedding? What activity would you be first to cut? Like stuff like that. Like what sort of things? So if you're trying to cut off, trim the fat off of a wedding, get rid of some of the frills. What things are you getting rid of?
Cocktail hour. We don't need an entire hour for cocktail hour.
Agreed.
Like we're gonna start drinking now, all the way till 1 a.m. I don't need a separate hour just to start drinking.
Yeah.
So definitely a whole hour there. I would condense speeches quite a bit if I want to. Unless if I know, my wedding party can talk and be hilarious, I'll definitely be like, okay, you know what? Best man, maid of honor, thank you. Let's do that, and then no parents in there, or maybe only parents, no maid of honor, best man, and then just a thank you. So one of those. And then the only first dance, no parent dances, just first dance straight into the party, right? So I think those are the things, little things I'll cut out. Again, you're collectively cutting down an hour 30 at this point. Well, if we're definitely cutting down size of people and timeline, then we're cutting down the dinner time, obviously. So that's a good hour and a half chunk that you could save as well.
I think, can we also make a rule, if you have over 150 guests at your wedding, you shouldn't be allowed to do a served meal. Can we make that a rule?
Well, yeah.
I want to make that official. Oh, we got someone coming in.
We're trying to...
Oh, can we let him in?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. We got guests, guys.
Want to come on my podcast, Ryan?
Absolutely.
Really like...
Are we interrupting? Good. This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad. I'll show you which ones.
Yeah, just show us which office, and maybe we can just tone it from that way and then go backwards.
Or...
Sorry for interrupting.
No, this is great. This is exciting. Look at that. Are these the internet guys? Look at this.
Do so.
Look at that. Internet. We're gonna keep rolling? This is great. Hayden, hang out with me. Come over here.
I thought I'm not allowed on camera.
Oh, right, yes. Don't come on camera. Don't do it.
Be showing you up.
So, you said you've been to one wedding?
I think I've been to 2 weddings in my adult life that I haven't worked at.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
And how were they?
They're good. It's fine.
Did you learn anything from those weddings? In terms of like what is good, what is not good, what you like, what you don't like?
One of them, I don't know if you could. It might still be considered working. I had to dance at one of them.
Okay. And were they large? Were they small? I assume they were probably pretty big because it was Ukrainian.
Yeah, they were both pretty big.
Yeah.
Um,
Outdoor, indoor.
The one was indoor, and then one was outdoor.
And what do you prefer?
Indoor, because then it's not 30 whatever degrees.
Temperature is the word.
and that day of the outdoor one was very humid too, which was just gross.
Indoor solves a lot of options. There solves a lot of problems. Sir.
So, yeah, I think we were talking about timelines. Yeah, I think it saves quite a bit there, but
yeah, that's my big ask for people. If you're going to change, I think everybody should just work off of what you would call a traditional wedding timeline.
mm-hmm.
You should just have that and then just make modifications, whether it's like, I don't like how long this is. I don't like that we have to do this activity. I don't like that we have to do this. Or I want to do this, but for twice the amount of time that we do. Like, you can just plug and play the things that you like, that you don't like into it. And it's still a wedding.
Right.
Change things and it's still a wedding. It's okay. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think you put a bow on that one.
Bow? Like, I was trying to make a bow. How do you make a bow just with... Is there like an international...
I don't think that's a bow.
I think that's just the gang sign, Joey.
We just got a whole bunch of new viewers after this episode.
We get DMs from that gang. It's like, so.
Yeah, so, it's like the bat signal.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is episode number 22
Please.
of For the Record Podcast.
Please reach out. We are looking for different topics on what you guys want to listen to in terms of weddings. We know there's a lot of people that listen to this specifically to get ideas about weddings, have concerns. They heard that there was going to be, potential dog guests on the podcast. Yeah. That's why they got excited.
Yeah.
But wedding things as well.
There's also, again, since we're talking about tridenteventgroup.ca, on that there's a forum for 2 things. One, to any topics you want us to talk about. Hey, can you talk about this, this, and this? There's a form for it. Fill it out. We can go through the form and answer those questions. And also, second part is what we call the horror stories form. So any stories that you've heard or seen or experienced, you can start putting them down. Again, you can keep it anonymous if you want. Right? Obviously, we're not going to start naming names here. So if you want, you can fill out your story if you want, and then change the names and whatever you want. Yeah. So should be good.
Should be good. Let's go back.
You're good.
Found the cable. We don't have any free ports.
Oh,
On the Switch.
No free ports.
Can we You can unplug, honestly, any of them in there.
Everything looks like it's live. Like all of them have tracks.
There should be only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Get out of here, Rhoni. I'm going
right
to
now.
end this podcast.
Yes. There should be
Joey's
only
unique way of
5
saying
live.
coffee is inspired by whatever sugary contraption this is. I'm a pretty plain, like, black coffee kind of guy. I don't know what this is. This is... I've been thinking this whole episode on what to call whatever this is. Just an excuse to put cream in your coffee. Have I used that one already? Like, this is just milk and sugar. There's no coffee in here. This is not about a different unique way to say coffee. This is a TED Talk. Okay? If you're gonna drink coffee, please drink actual coffee. Educate yourself. There are good types of coffee out there. 1 cream, 1 sugar, I'm fine. You start paying $7 for you're not getting coffee no more. You're getting whatever kind of ginger, hazel, vanilla, 13 pumps of fat-free, non-dairy mumbo jumbo. I feel better. I feel better, Hayden. Do you agree at least?
I just don't like coffee in general, so
Yeah.
I would argue that I would disagree with when you said there's good types of coffee. I would just say that there isn't, but that's just me.
This is why we keep you on, man. We put you in front of the camera. People will be like, well, I need to find that man and personally meet him and insult him in person. That's what they want to think. But if we keep you safe back there.
I'm pretty sure in the past you said it's because I was so good looking. You know, why not?
I say that.
I think you might.
I say that.
Appreciate it.
See you next week, folks. Thanks for watching. Good chat.